Welcome to Mitchell Elementary's program of ELF. We are introducing air and sound this unit, which goes along with our year-long theme of, boy, I can't remember. Anywho, onward we go. Here's our lids for our bins. Here are our bins. For air and sound, we have 5 bins, 5 centers, plus intro and conclusion, plus way down here we have extra supplies for ELF. There will also eventually be a lung box in the ELF storage room, and that is a lung, actually 2 pig lungs on hold from the American Lung Association. You'll also look for this handy dandy suitcase. That will be in the ELF closet as well, and we'll discuss that in a little minute here. So as with all ELFs, we'll talk about the introduction and conclusion simultaneously because you might use materials from either one at either point in time. We are going over air and sound, and as we know, without air there would be no sound. And so there's only one center that specifically relates to the sound unit, but it's very important. So we're urging you not to skip any. We're urging you to combine, once you read over the outline, to combine any centers that you have to skip. Of course, there's only time for 4 centers. So you might use one of the centers as a conclusion or whatever you can do with your flexibility of time. So as our outline always states, we give you a breakdown of what we suggest you to do with your ELF time. This gives you an introduction of focus of what we're going to focus on today. There are opening questions, which are somewhat rhetorical, and you could ask them before or after the puppet show, depending on how you run your day. Then we get to the puppet show, and we have a couple other demonstrations for you to cover right now. One of the most important things is our kids to remember is that the Earth's atmosphere is full of air, but only a small portion of it is usable air. So I've brought in an apple and a knife to demonstrate the Earth and the atmosphere. Any volunteers that want to do this need to bring in their own apple and their own knife. So the usable air of the Earth is proportionate to the skin of an apple. So what I'm doing is just going to cut open this apple and I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm going to show the students, look at how much air there is in this atmosphere, but only the skin is usable, which is a tiny, teeny amount. We also have a poster to demonstrate that, but the apple just kind of gives them a really, really hands-on kind of look. So we drew a poster. It says that the usable air is similar to that of an apple skin. So that's just a brief introduction about how important our air, and that ties in nicely with the puppet show, because the puppet show is called Breath of Life. There will be copies of the script in here with highlighted portions for each character, and I'll also provide that by PDF. Here's our puppet show. Here's our treasure, and it's a box that's empty, but it's air, so it's full of something very, very valuable. And our starring cast members are a worm, and a salmon fish, and a boy. His name's Henry. Then we got this little rabbit here. Whoopsie. Rabbit, grasshopper, and goldenrod. And so basically what the puppet show is going to do is talk about how important air is, especially in our atmosphere, and the gift of life, the breath of life, and that the treasure box is not empty. So that's the puppet show in a nutshell. The other thing with the introduction that is important is our suitcase. It looks really, just like a suitcase, but you pick it up, it's 35 pounds in there. So we want to demonstrate to the kids that we breathe 35 pounds worth of air every day. And if you get a calculator from your teacher beforehand, you can go through a brief demonstration of how many breaths that is. Have one kid come up, time him for a minute, see how many breaths he takes, calculate 1 minute times 24 hours times 30, 365 days, and then a lifespan of 75 years, and you'll find out that most people breathe 625 million breaths in their lifetime. So that's that for the introduction. The other thing in the introduction, we had some books here, so as your teachers are as you're setting up, you can have your teacher go in the hall and read the books. We also have a timer, so if you want to time your ELF sessions, usually each rotation is 15 to 20 minutes. This will help you keep on track. And then, we have ideas for the conclusion. So conclusion, we can read a book. There's a couple games in here, play Bat and Moth, and In the Middle, so those are basically sound games. And then we also always like to suggest a snack because the kids have become quite dependent on them. And we suggest serving noisy snacks. Celery with cream cheese or peanut butter, nuts, crackers, pretzels, carrots, Fritos, Pop Rock candy. Have the students try covering one ear or both ears while they eat these crunchy snacks and see what they sound like. Of course, beware of food allergies with your students in the classroom and plan accordingly. So that's about it for this part of the, but we're going to leave the tape running because we have one other box that isn't here. We are going to have pig lungs on loan from the American Lung Association. In that box, we will have a couple of books that demonstrate healthy lungs and the respiratory system. We'll have pages in these books earmarked as far as the anatomy of lungs and what a healthy lung should look like and what a healthy lung does. We only have these pig lungs the weeks of January 14th through the 18th and the weeks of February 4th through the 8th, the dates. So we're encouraging parents and coordinators to work with the teacher to bring these lungs in and on an off ELF day, if your ELF is during that week, so that they all get the chance to see these pig lungs, as it's phenomenal. You'll have to stay tuned for another YouTube on how the pig lung demonstration will go. But for now, that's it for the introduction and conclusion. If you have any questions, please contact us at mitchellelf@gmail.com. Thank you.